You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Single ladies, cafe. Single ladies, cafe. Smart, yeah, simple and sexy.
Welcome to the Single Ladies Cafe, where we keep dating smart, simple, and sexy. And speaking of sexy, we're going to introduce our panel today. We have the oh-so-sexy Jay Chattelle. I bet you think I was going to say Foxx, right?
I definitely did.
Not this time. We've got the sexy Jay Chattelle helping us out on our panel today. We're going to try and get through our topic today is dealing with uncooperative baby daddies. The ex-ones. The ones in the past. And we also have Miss Foxx.
Hi, Miss SC. I do. I was going to let it slide, but since you brought it up.
How are you, my
I'm
dog?
very well.
You're
very
doing
well.
good.
Yes.
And Jay, tell us just a little bit about yourself so that our audience gets to know what it is that Jay Chattelle does. I know you said you're doing a documentary about who Jay Chattelle is.
I am.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Jay Chattelle is an activist, a street worker, a poet, a traveling poet, spoken word artist, a producer, a director, a father, mother, brother, nephew.
Got it.
And I say mother.
Got it. Got it. We say the same thing, father.
I take care of my son at home right now. I reverse role, traditional roles. My girl, she makes the big bucks, so I don't mind staying at home and taking care of my son during the day and letting her make the big bucks, and I go out and do what I have to do later.
Hey,
so
if it works for you,
it works.
Okay, that's what we're
so
talking
far.
about.
Exactly.
As long as you pick up your part, some part,
Right.
you need help.
Yeah.
And today, that's so perfect because today we're talking about those uncooperative exes that won't help out. And even if they do, sometimes I think what we experience is the ones that don't, I don't know if it's spite or if it's just they don't know or they don't want to know and they just want to keep the riffraff going. So we're going to try to get through some of, hopefully some better ways that we can manage them or manage ourselves to how do we deal with them. It's tough and it's so much easier said than done. Agree?
They might want to pick up classes at CCRI for relationships.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
That would be a very good thing.
Yeah.
Healthy relationships.
Yeah, and you can call Miss SC.
Yeah.
You can send me a Dear Miss SC letter. I'll tell you how to work it out.
You can use me as the example.
I think, to start things off, one of the things that Foxx does so eloquently is she does our fan page and she talks about all the celebrity news and gossip that goes on. And recently, Tamika and Usher lost, or one of the sons is in the hospital, brain damage.
No, he's home now.
Oh, I didn't know he was home.
He came home from the hospital.
Oh, nobody told me he was home.
Oh, I didn't update you?
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's home now. So he had, the previous week, he had a little incident with almost drowning.
Okay, in the pool.
Yeah.
That's right. In the family pool at his home,
Usher's
not
home.
her home.
Right.
Because remember, last year they lost
her
her son with another baby daddy.
Right.
Jet skiing or in a boat, something like that.
They were on the lake.
They were on the lake.
And the jet ski went by and hit his head, and he had brain damage and all that. He was on life support for a few weeks.
Okay. And then he died.
Yes.
Okay, so she's already lost one last year, and now one of her sons with Usher had a little incident in the pool.
Right.
Okay. Why is she calling him to court?
Because she wanted to try and get the arrangement that they had in their custody agreement changed a little bit, modified.
But here's my problem with that, which, okay, you're going to do that, but while the child is in the hospital is not a good time to do that.
Well,
and I felt that she was being uncooperative at that moment, and she wasn't putting...
I think she found an opportunity to be able to get back into court because I know that they're going to court next week, the 27th.
Okay. Now, what is
to
this court
revisit
for?
the modification of the of the custody. But the issue that happened last week is that it was an emergency hearing because supposedly Usher's supposed to be going out of the country and all that stuff like that. She didn't know who was taking care of him because the nannies had quit in May or something like that. She didn't know all that had happened until the incident happened, and she's trying to find out what's going on. And the nanny's like, I don't work for them no more. I quit.
Wow. Okay.
So I think she was really trying to get custody of them while Usher was gone and out of the country, and it didn't work. So.
Okay. Okay. I don't know about that one, that situation. I kind of blame Usher a little bit, and then I kind of go both sides. I swing both sides. When he says something right, yup. Then when Tamika says something, yup, she's right, yup. So I go.
Yeah, pendulum.
Yeah.
Go back and forth.
She does
She's
that
stuck
often.
on Usher. Usher's definitely right. Tamika's crazy, and
She is.
so I'm like, okay. So
She's been officially diagnosed.
you did tell me that recently.
Yeah, she's been medically diagnosed.
I think a few more people need to be medically diagnosed.
Sometimes we go diagnose people for them, but
Yeah.
she actually was by a doctor diagnosed.
Oh, okay. So I got that. So anything that she's doing from now on, she crazy.
Right.
Okay, so I got to swing on
Right.
Usher's side.
Right.
Okay. I know that you're in a relationship, and that you have children before the little
do.
guy, right?
I do.
Okay, so how is that parent? Is that parent cooperative with you, or how's that?
I have a 19-year-old, three different relationships now, but a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old. My 19-year-old was actually, I gotta be sensitive on the subject. So,
Yeah.
my 19-year-old wasn't raised with me.
Okay.
Not to my choice whatsoever. I did everything I could do in my power to make sure she was raised with me, and I lost that battle.
Okay.
Through the courts and not through the courts, both ways I lost all the way around. It was a bad, and I'm a man with pride, so it was a bad pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And then I created a decent relationship between my second daughter's mother, where we had a good communication up until she was about 10 years old, where I was allowed in her house. We would never use my daughter as a messenger. You know, any conflict or problems was done between the two of us. And that was around the time I was paralyzed, though, and my life changed. I couldn't provide the way I was able to provide before my accident, and things that, you know, money unfortunately changes people. And when you can't do things that people are accustomed to, you know, you see a different side of people. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to hold up on financial responsibilities, but by the state law, I didn't have to at that anymore. I was deemed disabled. Right. So you should no longer look at me for financial responsibilities, but you should still look at me as a parent. And on her part, I don't think she took that, you know, serious, because I couldn't do the financial aspect, that she took all rights away from me, and that hurt. That hurt.
Wow.
Because my daughter was with me from day one, so that hurt bad. So yeah.
Okay. See, that bothers me because particularly because you had a relationship with the child. The second thing is, I agree. I'm one of these people where it takes money to raise children.
Yeah.
So you have to have money to be able to raise children. And in your situation, I understand. And I would prefer that you at least stay in the child's life. Me personally. I would have to disagree a little bit with her whole taking all your parental. Is that legal?
It became legal because of my disability. I actually set the court date up, which was against my own better judgment. I didn't do that to my first daughter's mother. You know, I don't think the court is the way to go to handle family situations. I don't think the courts ever. I can't recall it ever working out in the favor of the child. You know, once they get involved. So but I listened to people around me, and I didn't want to go through what I went through the first time and losing my daughter and not knowing where she was at. So I took the steps. I went to the court. I looked for help and got financial aid to get help, and the court date was messed up, and I had the wrong court date calendar, and they waived all my rights and gave them to her, and they said I wasn't, because of my criminal history background, that I wasn't deemed a proper parent to raise my daughter because of my violent criminal history, knowing that I've never had any problems with my children.
So
it was against
the
male
first
adults.
relationship is just gone, done. You don't see the kid, you don't hear from her.
I do now. I went
do
down
now.
I went down and brought her back up from Florida once we found out where she was at, and she moved out of the country. And
oh wow!
I have to be real sensitive to this subject.
I get it.
But she wasn't even in this country. My daughter wasn't even raised in this country.
Oh wow!
She was raised in Greece and Italy and all across seas in Europe. Her mother was married to a person in the armed services, so they did what they did and signed papers and took off without me ever consenting to anything.
I thought that was illegal.
I thought so too. And if there's a lawyer out there who would like to, reach out to me and let me know how I can do something otherwise, because as of right now, I am a fatherless child to them. I'm a father, but I have no children. I don't have no rights. They took them away from me.
Tough. We only have a few more minutes here. Very interesting. Like, I'm almost speechless for the first time because, and I think why I brought you on the show today, because it is such a sensitive topic anyway, and when you have things like that happen from a man's perspective, it's just good, because when we're women, we're like, ooh, ooh. So our side, we hear our side, we feel our side, we know her story is the same one as mine. Mine is the same as this one. Different things, different people, but same thing. So when we hear it from a man's perspective, it makes it more balanced and it makes it more real, like what's really going on. So we appreciate you being here today.
Absolutely.
Still
doesn't help my case, but absolutely.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can learn some techniques or something that can help your case and move forward and hopefully be civil.
Yeah,
I get it.
I think that's the biggest thing from my perspective. I think the biggest problem that we have as parent in my situation is that we're not able to get past the relationship. In my mind, I'm past it, because no matter what, if I get a phone call today, I don't hold grudge. I'm there no matter what, even after not seeing my daughter for a long period of time. I'm still right there. I'm not holding any fault, and actually, I take all the blame. It's my fault. I wish I didn't choose the wrong path when I was younger and make money not in the proper manner. And I wish I could have learned better choices in life, but that wasn't the path I took. And they knew it when they were with me, and they supported me at that point in my decisions. They were part of them decisions. They were there. They witnessed those decisions. So for you to condemn me on decisions I made already, it doesn't make sense. I mean,
I think we women do that a lot, a lot. We will support a man as long as he's providing for us, he's taking care of us, he's doing this, and money. And then when the money's gone, we're gone. And that's not cool, it's not right. Ladies, get it together.
I refuse to go backwards right now. I came too far. I refuse to go back, and I can go make money, but it's not going to be the right money, and I refuse to do it.
We don't want you to be stripped of everything that you've worked hard for up to this point. We want you here, and we want real money that's not going to be snatched from us, and you won't have to get into this type of situation. We know exactly what you're talking about. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
We'll be back. And we are back, the Single Ladies Cafe. We added to our panel, Anthony. Tell us a little bit about yourself because I'm ready to get right back in that conversation. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Anthony Anson. I'm a father of 2 9-year-old and a 6-year-old daughter.
Okay.
I'm a single parent right now, but my kids are living with me though. They live with the mothers. My mom, the younger one, staying with me, but recently took out after vacation. She said she's not coming back.
Oh.
But I'm happy. But you know, I'm a youth activist. I work with the youth, LIB Youth, Liberian Community Youth Organization. We just had a president, had an election.
Okay.
So a guy called Winston Good won an election for Liberian community.
Okay.
And likewise, I have a soccer team called LIB FC. Okay. So it's good, Champion Fit FC. So I'm an okay guy.
So are you dating?
Well, yeah, I have a beautiful girlfriend.
He looked right in the camera too. He's like,
You want to say hi to her?
yeah, but we've been dating for maybe 4 months now. So,
Okay.
but she's a beautiful girl and she have a good head on the shoulder, hard working. So,
Good.
hopefully, it get better off from there.
All right, so not the baby mama. This is somebody else. Okay, so we're gonna jump right back in. In our last segment, we talked to Mr. Chattelle, and he was, giving us some wisdom on his situation with his previous baby mamas, and it's just tough. It's just tough and unfair, I think, in many ways to parents who want to be good parents. And I don't think that money I think does play a part, but I think when you can and you're able to, you should. Mm-hmm. It's when you can't, I don't think that we should take the kids away, especially your parental rights, because you can't afford, and I don't want people to misunderstand that, because in my situation, it had to deal with cultures. And, I think a lot of people look or view me as I took the baby and ran. That's not the case. I ran for a reason, not because, he was helping out or he was doing well. He was doing the absolute opposite and acting uncooperative.
I'm a fugitive.
Which is our topic today. So
I was a fugitive baby also.
yeah. So what I did was I'm one of these people. It's just how I am. My nature is so I'm not going to fight you. I'm just going to do what needs to be done with or without you. That's just my makeup. So I do get that she took the baby and ran. No, I've been in the United States all this time, and you knew where I was, and if you want to help. So when you don't, that tells me that you're not interested, and I'm not one for pounding a man into doing what his responsibility is. That's just Miss SC, and I didn't do it. I think looking back, I do things a little bit differently, especially going after the money. Sorry. I would, because he's able to. So my thing is, then he had children with a few other different women, and it appears that he took care of those children. But how do you not come back and take care of your own? This is why we have this problem. The first one. So when you have all these other ones after, and you're taking care of those, my thing is, you made a decision, you live by it. That's how I feel. Okay, so what brings us to all these different conflicts and different opinions and different ideas? And I will add that I always had a good parent. I had both of my parents, and when one of my parents passed away, my mom replaced that one with a good person. So I had good men in my life. So when it was left for me to raise my own, I was like, what is this? But a lot of women are in my place. A lot of men are in your place. They feel your pain. I feel your pain. I think, but what do we do? Because now what I'm going to bring into the topic is when he gets the new girlfriend, as you have, there needs to be some boundaries. And I think sometimes the boundaries aren't set, and it makes more of it's like putting water on fire or so how do we deal with this new girlfriend that feels she wants to call a sit down with me? I'm confused. Maybe you guys can help me out because
It's a tough one because you know it's going to be a bashing session.
right.
More so than a parenting session.
Okay.
Like discussing what are the best opportunities you guys can make as a team, as a parenting group, and it ends up turning out to be a bashing session. You know, oh, I feel bad for you. You know, this is what he's done to me, and you know, necessarily what happens with, you know, that relationship doesn't mean it's going to happen in the next relationship. You know, circumstances around your relationship, you know, are those circumstances on their own. You know, what made those things happen are their own. They stand on their own 2 feet. I think as a parent, you have to learn how to swallow your pride, leave your past relationship stuff in the past, or deal with it when it's not nowhere around the children to even be ever heard.
Right.
Never make the children the messenger. Never send hate messages. Never put the other parent down for the things that they've done wrong. You know, we're all human. We all make mistakes. You know,
Okay.
Focus on those good qualities that make you a good parent.
And I agree, 100%. Easier said than
I was gonna
done.
say, it's
Easier
much easier
said
said
than
than
done, especially when you have uncooperative people. When you have two civil-minded people, I think that's easier because what happens is they tend to look at things as the best interest of the children is this, period. Regardless of what the fight is about, the best interest is for the kids. When that doesn't happen, when you have one person that is not cooperative and trying to make your life hell because they have a problem with the breakup or whatever the case may be, and by the way, it's not always the women. A lot of men do it too. A lot of do the nagging or do the bashing or do the, you know, trying to get back at the other person.
It's true, but I can only speak for myself.
No, please do, because I want to hear what Anthony has to say about it too. Now, keep in fact, we're talking about the new girlfriend calling a meeting.
Okay.
Let Anthony speak, please.
Okay.
This is the thing, you gotta look at this here. We say new girlfriend, just like have new girlfriends, you have new boyfriends. So it's both sides.
Yeah, I agree.
Points. So now, let's look at this parenting thing. Sometimes what you think as not being cooperative, to me, I'm trying to be cooperative. It's a thing it's a perception of what you think. So sometimes, like my pastor always said to me, he said, son, no perfect situation produce perfect product.
I agree.
That means that you may be I may not be educated, but all my kids may be educated because they want to go to school. You understand what I'm saying? Where they came from. I never like school, I hate school, but what happened to my kids to bring the bloodline from me all into school? I mean, I was in the school, but what happened, I found something to direct my attention from school. So when it comes to parenting, the same thing. As a parent, we have to look at the situation we are facing in a relationship. It's okay for the next person, the girlfriend, to come in to say something or try to raise my child because it's a village. But it left with the mother sometimes, or the father on the other hand. Because some parents feel that because my child, their father, you know what I mean, my mother, so it just gotta be both of us. You don't have no right coming in to say anything. And that's wrong. That's a wrong perspective of things. Sometimes
No, that's right.
that person may come in.
That's right.
Sometimes that person may have a good heart, that good intention, may raise your child better. Not me better, but nobody is perfect. No parent is perfect. I'm a father. I have 2 kids. I'm not perfect. My mother just got married. You know, but I thought it was too early. It's like 6 months, but I have to trust her as the mother of my child to know that the situation she put my daughter in now.
How long did she date him before she got married?
Well, I'll say 6 months. 6 months.
And then she got married
Yes.
after 6 months?
Yes. But it works out. Some places it works out, some places it don't. You know? But the situation is this, that we all have to step out of ourselves and take that pride next from us. To say, this is better for my child. It's not for me. Do I have the child? Do I push out? Do that's my seed in that woman? We have to look at the perspective to say, okay, God put everybody on this earth for better good. Some people take that better good to be bad. That's a choice. But when you try to reach out to compromise, this generation don't like compromising. This generation feels everything got to be confrontational. We choose to confrontate first before we compromise. So because of that problem, we will have this what we're talking about going to be the problem, because why? We want to fight first. We want to do things first outside. Then when we finish doing all those things, then we realize that was for nothing.
Right.
Because I have a girl child. No matter what you do to that father, let me tell you one thing, that girl can look for her father no matter what. This is not no boy child. The boy child don't care. He go look for his mom, he don't care. But that's a girl child, she gonna keep yanning until she get that father in her life. Whether that's 50 years, 20 years, it's gonna happen. So it's no point fighting, just try to compromise the best you can and for the better of your child. Not for me, as a father, selfishness, that's all you can do.
Miss Fox, you look kind of
Woo, she been waiting for you to get her up and spit it out.
It's like ding, ding, ding.
It's not that I'm upset.
Should I step to the side?
No, you're good. This is the thing. My son's father, my son is 9, or going on 9, and my son's father has not been in his life for 6 out of those almost 9 years. He was incarcerated. He came home and he was all gung-ho about being in his son's life. I have no problem with that. We were together before he went into prison. And, you know, just I had to move on throughout the time that he was in prison. 6 years is a long time for someone to say, wait for me, especially when you're in your mid-20s.
And you're a human being.
Exactly, and you're trying
blood.
to find yourself. And he came home from prison, and I talked about this on a previous show, that I found out that he had another child with someone that he was messing around with while we were together.
Wow.
And I had actually approached him about that before, and he said, this is not my child. So he comes home, when he went in, he had 2, one with me and one with another girl that I knew about. And when he came home, he had 3. So I already knew that I was not going to be with him. I had a boyfriend when he came home, and he you know, was persistent on trying to be back together and make the family thing work. And I'm like, I'm good, I'm all set, just take care of your child. That's all I asked for you to do. I never not wanted him to be a part of his son's life, and I knew that it was going to take some time for him to get himself together, because
6 years, you're institutionalized after 6 years.
Right.
There's no way you're not institutionalized.
And I understood, and to me it really wasn't even about the money, because, you know, my whole thing is be there for your son, teach your son how to be a man. The things that where you went wrong, help him to not go in that direction. And he was trying and he was working on it, and of course, you know, he had a few girls that he would mess around with here and there. That was never my issue. I never had an argument. It was never, don't bring my son around this chick or that, because that's not where I was. I'm trying to help them build a relationship. And I just don't think that he took it very seriously. I think that the relationship that he was trying to build with my son was to try to get back with me. He wasn't doing it for the right reasons. So finally, when he did get a girlfriend that he's now in love with, and kudos to them, but he still didn't really figure out how to manage his relationships with not only my son, but his other 2 children. So everything is just totally out of whack right now. You know, one baby's mother is bothering this baby's mother. It was just so much chaos. Like, he just had no order in his, right, it really is. And he just had no order. He doesn't say
anything.
Right.
I think is the other problem. It really is up to you. If I'm a husband and a wife, right, I don't want my ex, I'm never gonna let her father come in my house with my new husband and start dictating and cause problems. So somewhere, if my new husband saying, get your man, go get your baby daddy, I have to do something about that, because he cannot upset what is going on here. That doesn't mean that this guy can't say something to my child. It's just keep your place, know where your place is.
Any good human, any decent human being is not going to direct a child to do something negative.
Yes.
Any decent human, if you're not, even if you're not a parent, if you're a decent human being, and if you're not a decent human being, then there's a flag. You shouldn't be with them anyway.
Right.
You know, why you're wasting your time. You know,
we know that.
You're an adult with a child, so
child first.
Yeah. So child
always.
So if you take that in perspective, you know, you have to give some respect and allow the significant other of the ex, you know, some room to help discipline your child, help grow your child in some way.
But my problem with that is he doesn't know how to discipline them on his own. I'm not looking for your girlfriend to come in and do what you're supposed to do.
If he couldn't do it on his own with you, what makes you think he's going to do it on his own?
We didn't even have the opportunity.
Of course, that's
So, but
that's my
whole thing, and
you're
that's
solidifying what I'm saying.
But and that's fine though.
How could
but
you expect them to do it now? Is what I'm wondering.
But and I stopped at it and I let it go, and it's up to you to want to spend time with your son.
They say I've heard two different things when it comes to relationships. Sometimes you need someone to complete you. Sometimes you need someone to emphasize who you are. You know, there's two different holes in a relationship. You know, some people don't look to someone to complete. They just, you know, to bring out the best in them. And then some people, your ex seems like the person that looks like he needs someone to complete him. He needs someone to keep him on the straight and narrow. He needs that, maybe that mother figure in his life. You know, it's no longer a mother figure because you're an adult, but maybe he needs that type of girlfriend to help pick up the slack that he doesn't truly know how to do.
And that's fine. And
they have parenting classes that you can go to that
They do, but they don't.
But not only that.
But none of us have had, I didn't have parenting classes.
Parents is on the job. It's on the job. There's no booklet.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think he is that type of person. He needs someone to complete him and tell him this is the step that you need to take, and that's fine. But you had that conversation with her. She doesn't need to have that conversation with me. And that's where the argument is.
That's the perspective you're taking. But But at the end of the day, you just said, well, they're saying the same thing here. There's no perfect parent.
There's no perfect parent.
The greater good of the greater good.
Maybe there's some type of a relationship that could be said for the child that, you know.
I'll be honest with you. He and I are actually very good friends when things are going good. Even in our relationship, I think we were best friends. Actually, I know we were best friends. And even when he came home, he came to me for everything. Out of all the baby's mamas and everything, if he needed help for something, he came to me. And he knew that he could get it from me. And it's not because, you know, it was,
you just wanted the right things for him.
Right. It was because he knew that I was right. It wasn't anything.
Good heart.
On your part,
that's a good heart.
Right.
You know, I mean, sometimes
so,
like that.
you know, I think that, you know, he just needs to, either you're going to be there or you're not. Like, he picks and chooses when he wants to be there. And I think that, and I'm going to be honest, I have a problem that he's taking care of his girlfriend's 2 kids and not my son. That's a huge issue for me.
But knowing he's doing that says a little bit more about him, saying that he has it in him. So
no, I never said that he hasn't, because he always has. He loves his kids.
I just did though.
But I'm saying, like, he loves his kids.
I just think that this is my
He's just a messy person
perspective
at the end of the day,
him
really.
Being a person that has raised a child on my own. I think that he does have very good intentions. It's not a question about does he love the kid or anything. I just think he's horrible at parenting, and there is such a thing as horrible parenting.
Yes.
And
so what's the fine line? The fine line is, listen, do the best you can, educate the child on what he or she needs to do.
Well, here's my as grandma, 2 things with that. If you take him, don't bring him back injured. I have a problem with that, because I go off on that, because I think that
He's a boy. Boys get injured.
No, and I have no problem with that, because I have 3 brothers. I have 3 brothers. I've fallen out of trees and stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Being
Climbing fences.
that part
But
don't bother me.
if he's gonna be injured on your time, make sure that you
make
take
sure.
care of him. Don't injure him and then drop
Bring
him
him
off
back
at
to you.
home and leave
Take
him
care of him.
needed.
And you didn't take care. You didn't
That's
find
what I'm
out if there was
questioning.
medical, because I look the longer. I don't have a problem with the brush here. I've got some scars from, you know, my childhood.
Right.
But I think when it's going past where, because you weren't paying attention, and not only that, there were other little things that play into that where he doesn't, this is my thing, he doesn't have boundaries, not only with the girlfriend, but with his friends. And it almost seems that his friends and girlfriends are more important, where what they say is more important. So there was one time when his friend threw him in the pool. I got upset, because I'm like, nobody should be throwing him in the pool, because first of all, you don't know if he swims, and he does, thank God. But it depends on how you threw him. This person was mad when he threw him in it. So a lot of things could happen. We could have had an Usher situation. Thank God we did it. But it's stuff like that. I just think that you need to be more, you know,
conscious.
Like, think about what you're doing, and think about the people. Just because you think that your friend is good, we may look at it as, I don't think that they're good. They're not good to be around. I mean, I'll just say this, and we're going to end this segment, but you know, all these little guys that are molested by this one is done by Uncle Tom, who you thought was a good guy. So my thing is, now you guys know that this is prevalent in our day. You have to watch for that now. And whenever somebody starts saying, oh, I'm Uncle this, no, you're not. You're his friend. And I need to know where you're taking my son or my daughter, and I need to make sure that where you're taking them is safe. My kid is going to be safe in your presence or their presence. And I'm not so sure.
Don't take it personal.
I just feel like if you can't get him, bring him back home. He doesn't need to be left with everybody else. Just bring him home.
And girlfriends, we got to end. If you are a new girlfriend, you don't have no reason to call
at
all to talk to me about my kid. Talk to you and make sure that you're doing the right thing with your baby daddy, with your kids, before you jump in my backyard.
Right.
We're going to the next segment. Right after this, we'll be back. We're back. Welcome to the Single Ladies Cafe. Oh my goodness, it is so hot and heated in this room right now. We like hashed it, I don't know about hashed it out, but we kept on talking right through our break. We're gonna bring it back to the panel. I don't know, is it true? You know how they had that book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus? Or is that true? Because
it's true.
I have you guys on the panel to kind of give it to us from a men's perspective. We appreciate that, and we're still like,
y'all are not getting it. You're not getting it. I just think that the situation is a little bit.
I think men handle things different.
Yeah,
we definitely handle things different.
I think men,
right?
Because we're more nonchalant when it comes to things, and women want every fine tooth comb.
Maybe I'm being a jerk in saying this, but real men know how to handle things the right way.
I agree. 100%.
And I think that. You know,
when you say real man, the definition of real man to you is different from somebody else's perspective.
Well, I'll say my definition of a real man is somebody who's got it together and who's handling their business with it.
Well, no, because a man that has the capability of taking care of his children,
that's what I'm saying, got it together.
I do not consider you a real man, and no one should. No one should a deadbeat. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that cannot do something that they want to do. These are men that you know you have baby here and you walk right by the house and you still don't supply or provide for that. Then you go to Betty's house, who you had another baby with, and you don't take care of them. You don't even acknowledge the kids. This panel is talking about acknowledging and trying to deal with uncooperative parents.
I have a multi-family. I have basic today's family right now. I have 3 different children's mothers. And I don't want to say baby mamas because I don't like to be called a baby daddy ever. So I never want to give that tag to to my children's mother. So I have 3 different children's mothers. One I'm in a current relationship with 2 twins on the way, and I'm doing everything in my power to make that never cease and exist to happen. You know, because at times. Every relationship has its rocky road. Every relationship.
There's no such thing as a perfect relationship at all.
No, there is no perfect relationship. I've never seen one. So, and I know some really good people, and they've even told me there was no perfect relationship. So, I think from a man's perspective, and when I say man, I have to say for myself, being that I was disabled for the past 8 years, I do not and no longer have any bone in my body that wants to. At any means necessary thought process, because at any means necessary thought process means I'm going to give up my life, go out there and make the money, but in the long run, how is that going to help my child? You know, I know every child would give up every dollar in the world to have their parent back if they didn't have their parent. So now knowing that, being conscious on them thoughts, you know, does that make me not a real man because I'm not going out there doing, seizing the opportunity to make all that money? I don't think so.
No, that's not, because
but there's so many men like that in my situation.
To take care of your children.
I don't want to deal with the baloney that comes with it anymore.
Absolutely.
I've cried and cried more times than I care to admit right now. I've cried a lot.
Because you're on the other side. What happens is you're on the other side.
I'm sure they have a value. I'm sure they have a value reason, not to deal with me, you know, or not to trust me, or not to.
No.
They have to, because why are they getting away with it?
But Jay, If you have a child with someone, there is, in my opinion, never a valid reason.
Right. But I'm saying in their heart, in their mind, I don't mean they have a valid reason because, you know, some days, you know, I don't know how I don't kidnap my children.
No matter what.
I'm
You're their
there.
father, no matter
what. I'm there. But what I'm saying is that in their heart, in their soul, like Miss Foxx right now, she has valid reasons in her heart and her soul, and no matter what I'm saying is going to change her mind right now. Something has to click in their hearts and their minds to be like, all right, you know, let Jay be the father. Right now, I'm being X'd out of my 16-year-old daughter's life. I'm being X'd out and replaced. Another man, she just got married to another man, and they were talking about trying to change my daughter's name and letting him be the so-called real father because I'm just a sperm donor. And knowing this,
it's difficult. I mean,
very difficult. I'm pulling the tears back right now. Having emotions towards those experiences and having to be able to contain them. Just because I have all these emotions doesn't mean I have to need to act on them in a violent manner or something that's going to get me in trouble.
Right.
But going out and making the wrong money, that's in their eyes. If I make money, then I'm a good parent. That doesn't make sense to me.
See, this is what I'm saying. Definition of that's why I said, what is the definition for a father? For you, a definition of a father could be just going out there getting money, bringing it home. Your definition for a father would be being in that child life, raising that child properly.
But what happens to both?
Both is good.
Because I had great parents. Because my parents they took care of my spiritual part. They made sure we were in church. They made sure we were provided for. They made sure that I was secure. So I think there are some guidelines that men should go by that makes them a good man.
Let me give a good example. Okay, I'm a man. I have what? A mother, a father, right? My mother is married. My father is married, right?
To two different people, or they're married to each other?
No, two different people.
Okay.
So that's 4 parents right there. Now, I had a man when I was growing up that he worked with UN, United Nations. And when I was in another country, I exiled. When I go out in the public, when they see his son and see me and thought that I was his son, they never went to the son himself. I come to me, hey, what's your father? I knew where he went, when he's coming, where he was going. Now, when it comes to parenting, what I'm saying to you that we all got brought up in a different perspective of things. My father is a great man. He raised me to a certain point. My country went through a war situation. He left. Now, I can't blame me for leaving. Even if he have left on his own, I can't blame him. I can count the amount of financial thing he done for me. But it's not about the finance thing, it's the willingness. My father and I, it's the willingness because I want to be connected to him, he wants to be connected to me. If you see him right now, you see me, if I tell you, say he was not in my life for 10 years, you will never believe that. You will always think that he was in my life one time. Now, I have a stepfather. I don't even call him, this is my father, I ever seen stepfather. He's my mother, husband. He's a Muslim man. He's a Christian. People say Muslim and Christian can mix. It's compromising. It's left with you. What you want to do. You're thinking of doing things, how you want to raise. This man raised us right. If I come and call and say I need some money, he run first before my own mother runs.
Did you live in the household?
No, never lived in the household. I was grown when he got married.
Okay, when your mother married your stepfather?
Yeah, I was a grown man. But the way he raised us, the way he bring us, because his perception of thinking, she's a Christian. What? He's a Muslim. He go to the mosque. Sunday morning, mom go to church.
But I think here's the argument.
So it's a compromise where it left with you as a parent. Listen, no parent is perfect, but it left with you. Listen, this is John Paul. This is our kid. What is the best way to raise the kid? Now, let's give him this. Let's give him that. What can you bring to the table? What can I bring to the table? And what's missing? Because
what's the best way to raise the kid?
Wherever is missing, the grandparent.
That's different.
So how do you find that compromise?
Yes,
I think
that's the thing.
Ultimate question.
That's my point.
Right.
Because if you don't have it, here's my point. If the relationship is dysfunctional, I have a problem with that already. Okay, and most of our relationships start off that way when we have our kids. But if you have a dysfunctional relationship with the baby's mother, how dare you allow your girlfriend, who, now my thing is, if I'm intimate, no matter who's the mediator, I think it's very disrespectful for another woman. Women know their place. Women know when they have stepped
push
the
the
boundaries.
envelopes.
Yes.
And the other
They
thing,
push the
I think
envelopes.
the other
That's the
difference
problem that we are
is
men.
that I was never
the
formally
difference
introduced
between
to her.
men.
So-
Right.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
she's,
Right.
so when you're
And so we
jumping
don't even
into
know
my
her,
business
really.
and I don't know who you are,
Yeah.
like I don't even know your name. And if I walk by you in the street, I wouldn't know you.
Right.
How
I wouldn't
would you
even
be so
today.
important?
I wouldn't even
So
know
why
it
are
If you're
you-
important, why don't I know
Right.
you?
Exactly.
So, and the thing
So if
about
you're
it
gonna
is,
call a meeting,
So there's the respect. That's
Right,
the
exactly.
and you've been
respect for it
introduced to
around.
my
Exactly. There's
boyfriend,
no
not to spin
respect.
on you, sorry, but I've introduced him to my boyfriend in the proper way. My boyfriend stays out of it. He says, you know
Exactly.
what?
That's his place.
That's between you and your son's father.
handle
If
it.
you need me in anything to back you up, I will, but that's for you guys to handle. I'm not getting involved. And that's always been like that from day one. He's like, I'm not coming in here to try and step on anybody's toes. Your
Now,
son,
does he help parent when in the household, like
Yeah.
when he's
Of
there?
course, you cannot be.
And we don't
it's
have a
difficult.
Does he have? Does he
problem
have? No, of course you don't.
We
have,
don't
a-
have a-
But does he have? Does that ever cause conflict on the? So I mean, I don't know.
Well, you mean?
I
with
think my
conflict
son's father,
with
I think
the son's
honestly,
father,
he
yeah.
just likes drama. I really
That's what I'm
do.
asking.
I-
You can't stop it because in life, we are all human beings and brought up here. So the thing, the things you like, you may like, why that may be just negative, okay? Now you may be just loving. So now I'm going out. Are you my ex-girlfriend? You my present. Now this could be like, okay, you know what? Now I'm dating you. Everything is testing negative, right? But I'm the one that's positive. That's got to be a balance right there. I got to try to balance it because you may be a good woman or good heart. Be just a person in your whole life, you just think negative.
But you said you have to balance it.
There's a balance.
That is our argument.
Right.
That's
He's
our
not
argument.
balancing
He's
it.
not
That's the
balancing
problem.
it.
So the thing, but it's not going to be all solely on me balancing it. But I'm going to try to work with it. Listen, because if I leave you, right?
Right.
Because you may be the person that just talk a lot and that's everywhere go talk,
that's what we feel.
talk, and cause problem. That could be your butt. Her butt could be somebody that she's not faithful. So which one do I really want? Do I want a woman that's not faithful or the woman that's going to public that cause drama?
Well, I think the key thing here is,
you know what I'm saying?
but the underlining thing here, regardless of what my personal life is, we want to know what's best for the kid.
Right.
And that's what I feel is missing.
Like we can't
We
sit
don't- I
down and
don't
have
care
a civil
about your girlfriend
conversation
or
because
how many
he
you
wants to
date.
bring his girlfriend into the
What goes on
conversation.
with this
I don't
girl-
want
with
to
the
talk to
kid,
her.
between them two.
Like there's no need for me to talk to her.
It's not about your wanting or not.
I don't need to either.
Yeah, it's not about that. The thing is that, see again, it's a choice. You have to say, listen, now, what is the best decision for the
It's
kid?
best for her to stay out of my business with my son and my son's father.
I think if she is
Mature.
ultimately enough going to be in his life, if she's going to be there for the next 5 years, 10 years, a good syndicate, no one's guaranteed tomorrow. So if she's going to be definitely guaranteed
we don't
quality
know
time
that.
there, if he's a,
But I know his track record.
What I'm saying is, let me finish. May I finish? May I finish? May I finish?
And even if
Let me
they
finish my
want
thought
to-
process
Okay,
because I'm taking it somewhere.
Sorry.
I'm going somewhere. I'm driving a car right now. So
let you
ultimately,
drive.
if he really respects this woman, it's up to him right now to bring that to your attention.
Thank you.
And
Good point.
introduce you to this woman. Until he properly introduces you to this woman,
That's why she got a problem.
she doesn't have she definitely doesn't have a say because if she's not important enough to meet the child's mother, then she's really ultimately not gonna be there for a long run.
Right.
So from his perspective, I think from his perspective, he has to know that. He has to be able to see that because he's never been taught that.
But
I think he's just not a confrontational person when it comes to real issues.
Right.
I think what happens is they create this drama
And then
but
don't know how to deal with it when he gets hit
or
with it.
resolve it.
Most people don't know how to deal with drama.
But that's the thing.
It's in anger. It's in violence. It's in bashing.
Violence and
Most people don't know how to deal with that.
That can cost you.
That emotion
And
right
that
there.
can cost you.
Of course, it's
That can cost you.
I just did a giant a peace fest, and 90% of people that was on the wall died from some type of violence, which mostly is going to be in a relationship violence. We just honored a little girl dying. The father killed a little girl. That's what they were said. It hasn't been taken to trial, so let me retract that. So you just don't know. I think if we're honing in on a particular topic, which it seems like we are, I think the mother of the child, I'm not saying Ms. Foxx, everybody out there, the mother of the child, should, you know, should respect herself enough to say, listen, this is what I need from you. I need to know that if this woman is serious enough to be in your life, I don't want to meet her. I don't want to meet her if she's serious enough. I need to meet her. And you have to move past that.
We've done that.
We've done that.
You have to move past that.
Because the compromise.
My whole thing is though, like, how do I move past that though if we can't get to that point when we can compromise?
All right.
Where's the compromise? What's the? It's not his, if he chooses to keep dating
my whole
women,
thing is not.
they can't be up to your standards though.
It's not even about that. I haven't
really
even had
not.
that opportunity.
It's
So then
it's really not.
it has to be.
I don't care.
So how do you get past
really,
that?
to be honest with you, I think that he wants me to care.
Respect her. Period.
Right. He wants me to, like, because one of the things that was said to me.
And he's trying to take her 2 kids from her baby daddy.
Right.
That's not right.
She's trying to get everybody together in their household.
They all trying to.
No, well, he ain't trying to get my son. He
But is that what she's trying to do though?
They're trying to overstep the
other parents. So he's trying to control her situation with her son's father, and she's trying to control his situation with his baby's mothers. But
they're trying to do each other's roles. They're role reversing.
What they're really trying to do is get us out of the way so they can live a happy life, and he can deal with his kids when he wants to, and he doesn't want her baby's daddy to be involved with her kids. So he wants to take on her boyfriend.
That's a control. There's a control issue.
Right, exactly.
That's a giant control issue.
That's the elephant in the mind.
That's the thing. It's a perception. At the end of the day, you, as a simple fact that we have to learn to think out of the box. Until we can learn to be mature and think out of the box and stop being selfish, because parents are very selfish. You know what I mean?
Nobody wants to be replaced. That's the worst feeling.
What would be selfish for me is
but that's the feeling of it though. Having a stepfather, having a stepmother, just knowing that and sharing that.
Well,
I had a stepdad that really, when the day they got married, my mom and my stepdad took all of us in the car and said, we're going to live as a family.
Yes.
And you are not going to call me stepdad, and I'm not going to call you stepdaughter. We're going to live as a family. But they're married.
Right.
And
these people are playing house.
For
Nobody's married here.
Before, because he knew.
But traditions have changed now.
Thank you.
That's missing.
That tradition is lost.
Tradition is lost. I mean,
not in my house.
No.
That's great if you can keep those old traditions going. But American society is growing different.
I don't have a problem.
It's definitely growing different.
If you are going to live with this woman and not marry her, I don't have a problem with that. I'm up to date.
Yeah.
What I have a problem with is don't demand things that you haven't earned. That's my thing.
But everybody will have a problem with that.
Right. You have to earn. I think if she was in the house and she's really being a great mom, she's really, AJ, come on and do this and I'm going here, but that's not the case.
Like they use my son as a babysitter. Like when my son goes to the house, they're sending my son down the street who's not even old enough to take care of himself. They're sending him down the street with her 2 younger kids to play at the playground because they want to be in the house doing whatever they want to do.
You guys have different ideas of parenting, which it definitely needs to be. It definitely needs to be respected.
To me,
there has to be some type of respect.
There's no respect
developed.
There's no respect.
There has to be a line somewhere where you guys can draw.
That's a compromise.
Draw something.
And we were doing that until he was in a relationship with his girlfriend.
But now he's in a relationship. You can't say what was in the past. Right, what you was doing before in the past is done now.
But he stopped doing everything. That's the problem.
So now you have to find now the goal is to get back to where you guys. It's either he's not going to be there at all, or he's going to be there. But it's not your choice.
I know, but
it's not your choice.
But I'm not making it my choice.
You have to lay down
that he can.
So you have to lay down your respect. You have to lay down your respect and say, listen, this is what I need to function normally. This is what I need.
I've done that. You don't.
Until he's 18, you can't give up though. Until he's 18, you cannot give up.
I'm too busy to have to worry about a grown man, figuring out how he's supposed to take care of his child.
You're right.
You see, they say a grown man.
But it's not.
He is a grown man. He's 40 years old. He is a grown man.
But this is a situation. Forget to understand. A kid will cross, walk, become a man, right? Men, one thing, never try to figure men out. That's the biggest mistake.
We're not trying to.
That's the biggest mistake women try to do. They try to figure men out, and we are easy creatures. We are easy animals. Think that we are the kind of people that.
I'm dealing with a certified idiot then, because he's not.
We are a grown kid. You bring a candy bag. if you can't get the kid.
But that's
he
for his
keeps coming to
girlfriend
you,
to care,
right?
not me.
And the kid
This
keeps
is
coming.
about business right now. This is a
the
business
moment you
relationship
stop
between
giving
him and
that,
I
It's not
right now.
business because it's
and the
personal.
moment you stop giving that kid that candy, what happens? He's gonna turn right back and go to the next person and give the kid.
All I care about in this particular situation is when you have my grandson, do not put him in harm's way.
Of course.
When you put him in harm's way, when you
supposed to be like that for every relationship.
Every relationship. That's why I said there is a difference between a good man and a bad man. So my thing is, you need to think and say, look, he's 8 years old. Number one, it's against the law to leave children unattended, and then to have him go with 2 younger children that are your, and then come home and say they were approached by older kids that threw her kids all over the park. And then they had to run back home, go get
So
him.
So until you figure out
So
what to do
basically,
with
that
your
just showed
kids,
his
don't call me to
decision
tell me
making
what to
was
do with mine.
not right at that
It
moment.
never is.
Isn't that?
In the,
What are you going to be able? That's the choice you
Be a
made when you
man.
had a child. Then
Right.
And so
I
at this
agree.
point, you have
Absolutely.
to deal with it until
Yep.
you
I
have to deal
agree.
with it until it deals with itself.
I agree.
You have to deal with it.
Until you become
It's tiresome,
he's
but
not
you have
mature
to.
in that. He's
You
not
have to.
mature yet. The Bible says that why rather not be wrong sometimes. You may be right, but choose to be wrong. Just for the sake of argument's sake, just for the sake of peace. Sometimes you just got to do it. I feel like
just for
because
peace.
It's
Just
not
to have
because of
peace.
that.
It's
Because
tough.
I did, but I did.
I want my children all the time, so it's
but
tough.
I
If it's up to me, my child will never go
when
home.
I asked
So
my mom to be the mediator because I couldn't handle it, I think that was throwing in the flag and saying I need this to be peaceful, and he blew that.
Right.
He couldn't even work with the most reasonable person. If I'm not reasonable and I give you somebody who's reasonable and you still mess
But
that up,
maybe in his perspective, even though I know,
No, he's told me I'm the best, or even over his
I
own
was saying,
mind.
'cause-
he's
Even over
been to
his
a
own
psychic.
mind.
A psychic told him that she was the best.
but you are biased though. Still, you have not only the greater good of everybody in your hands.
I do.
You also have the greater good of your
Just do
daughter
the right
in your
thing
hands,
is all I say. I
and
don't care.
your grandchild, which
Yes.
that's a heavy load all the way around. And I
And
know
it
you're
is
an
true.
honest person. I know you're an honest person, and you want what's
I
right.
want everybody to do the right thing and make everything peaceful. If everybody is just peaceful and think about what you're doing before you do it, and when you have children, for God's sake, figure it out.
again, it's no such.
There's still no resolution here. I still don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
Find that respect.
nothing to do. You just
Find
gotta-
that respect, at least within
Mutual
yourself.
respect.
Find that
That's it.
respect at least within
Yeah.
yourself. You know what you don't want to deal with
Right.
anymore. You know what you will deal with. You know what you accept. You know where your morals and your values lie. Find that respect back inside you with yourself. You know, because at your point you're just fed up.
I am.
So
I mean, he's on the block list.
You have to.
He
You have
can't
to
even
take
call
it
my
back.
phone.
You have to take it back somewhere.
He can't even call my phone.
That's
He's
a-
blocked.
Are so done with this segment that is so over. I want to thank Anthony for sitting on the panel. I want to thank Jay Chattelle. Oh my gosh.
I'm
we
not
might
mad
have
at
to do
you
a
guys.
part
I'm
two.
just going. I'm hot-headed. I'm up
We're not
here.
saying you mad at us, but
No, I'm just saying. I
That
don't
is
want
so
it to
true.
be anything personal. Like,
Men
that's
are
just
from
how I
Mars
am. This is
and
a
women are
sensitive
from
subject.
Venus. We will talk to you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Single Ladies Cafe.
Single ladies, cafe. Single ladies, cafe.